aloe vera at home is a relatively easy and rewarding experience. And here is a step-by-step guide of how to do it. The first step is very easy. You need to obtain aloe vera plant. You can buy it in a nursery, in a garden shop, get it from a friend, or you can just start from a leaf which you can buy in a supermarket or also get from some friend. If interested, I can record a video of how to propagate aloe vera from leaf. Leave your comments and let me know if you would like me to do that. Second step, ensure that you have a right pot. Aloe vera really likes free draining soil, and if you keep it waterlogged, it will not survive for a long time. So make sure that when you buy your plant, it is already in a pot where you have some holes in it. Right here I have holes on the side, but in many pots you would have holes here. Just make sure that whatever you water your aloe vera, the water which the plant doesn't need is able to escape the pot. You can get a plastic pot or a terracotta pot, and if you're afraid that you can kill your plant by overwatering, which is the #1 reason for home plant to be dying, then I suggest to take a terracotta pot, because some water can also evaporate through the sides of the pot. #3, you need to have a well-draining soil mixture. Usually the universal potting soil would not work that well for aloe vera. The best one is to buy a potting soil for succulents. If you live in the countries where you have a lot of sand and you are not able to afford buying potting soil, then you can use a mix of sand or sandy soil together with some organic fertilizer such as vermicompost. But make sure that whenever you water it, water doesn't stay in the pot for a long time. So for example, avoid soils which are high in peat moss, for example, or coir, or anything that would not allow the water to drain. The fourth step is planting your aloe vera. If you bought it in a pot, of course you leave it in the pot if there are not too many roots. If you need to replant it, just take a pot which is a couple of centimeters bigger than the previous one. If you have taken a pup like this, a little small baby of aloe vera, then you can also plant it in a very small pot. Where do you keep your plants? It should be kept in a bright, indirect sunlight. So somewhere on the window is perfect. If it's summer and it's very hot and it's a south facing windows, then probably it's not that perfect. You can cover it with something to prevent so much light. If it's on patio, also avoid keeping it in a direct sunlight. Yes, it's succulent, so people think that you can keep it in the sun all the time. However, it will burn because in nature it doesn't stay in a direct sunlight. So if you do that, you can see in this video what happens if they're planted in a direct sunlight. Watering your aloe vera is a very important step which often leads to aloe vera death. You should allow your soil to dry completely between the waterings, otherwise it might lead to root rot. So how do you know that you need to water it again? Take your finger, put it about an inch deep in the soil and see if the soil there is dry. You see, mine one is not that dry, okay? You have a little bit of sand in it, so I would wait another couple of days before watering. When you do water, just water it fully, ensure that the whole potting mixture is wet, and then the water leaves the pot, and then in half an hour or so, just remove all the water from the plate or wherever your pot is, just to ensure that this potting mix is not waterlogged. And then wait for the next watering until it dries out. Temperature. Aloe prefer temperature between 55 degrees Fahrenheit and 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 13 to 27 degrees Celsius. So average apartment is a perfect temperature for them. It can tolerate lower temperature briefly, but try not to expose it to those temperatures. And it can tolerate higher temperature, but again, it's much more comfortable in the area of temperatures, as I mentioned. In terms of humidity, average humidity in the house is okay. Fertilizing, aloe generally does not need soil, which is to fertilize. However, to help it to grow, you can try to fertilize during summer and spring, during active growth season, using a solution of organic fertilizer. Don't do it too often. And also, if you just planted your aloe in a new soil, what's in that soil should be enough for several months before starting fertilizing. There are some aloe vera plants that live without fertilizing for their whole life. Like you can come to some apartment and see aloe vera which is there for 20-30 years. It's quite big and it has never been fertilized. So it is possible to grow it without fertilization. The choice is yours. Pests and diseases. Aloe vera leaves are quite hard, so they are not as susceptible to pests and diseases. However, just make sure that the watering regimen is fine. If you find some pests on the plant, you can just try to remove them before they spread. However, generally, it's a good plant, which doesn't require too much maintenance. And the last step is maintenance and harvesting. Don't forget that you need to remove all the plants which are dead or damaged, and you can harvest leaves next to the base, cut with a sharp knife, and then you can use this aloe vera gel or aloe vera juice as you usually would, which is obviously more natural than if you buy it as a gel or something else. And that's it. It's an easy to grow plant, which I think should be in almost every house. So if you are interested, go ahead and get yourself a new plant. And I will see you in my next video.